definition of leadership is to create more leaders, not more followers. Welcome to the Paid Forward Society, the podcast where we explore the many facets of leadership as we talk to inspiring managers, entrepreneurs, coaches, veterans, and athletes who empower their teams and deliver results. Together, we discover the keys to success through empathy, purpose, and care. I'm your host, Romain Jourdan. I've been leading distributed teams for almost 10 years, and I continue to practice and learn how to become better at it. Today is a special episode. I have no guest. I wanted to answer a couple of questions from the audience and people in my network. I wanted also to reflect on some of my key learnings and that I had during the first season, and also wanted to share what's coming next. So one of the questions I'm getting often is, do you still work for Amazon? Because I'm communicating on social media about the podcast and what I'm trying to do with the Paid Forward Society. So yes, I still work for Amazon today, and this is a side hustle. I'm not trying to make any money. It's more something that is important to me, and I'm going to give a bit more details. So why the Paid Forward Society? I want to give back. I was given a chance when I became a manager, and I have been, privileged to be given a team and have the opportunity to learn from great people. So I want to give back. It's also a reference to a great movie with Kevin Spacey and Ellen Hunt. Great movie from the early 2000s. So it's a great one. What are some of my motivations for creating this? So first of all, I want to create a community of leaders, a place where people can learn, share, and grow all together. The second one is that I want to give a voice to the many different leaders, people who are making a difference, an impact. Not the traditional bosses, managers, but really people who are inspiring teams, who are delivering results. So I started with a close contact, and then I'm slowly extending my network, reaching out to other people. So if you have any great ideas about people I should talk to, please let me know. And finally, on the personal side, it's an opportunity for me to continuously learn, to grow as a leader. I think I will talk about it later on, but one of my guests, Daryl, said that we never stop learning as leaders, and that's true. And for me, it's a great forcing function to meet great people, to understand their challenges and learn from their experiences. I find that super powerful. So this is also one of my motivations for that. The format. So I'm privileging a long format, so I don't have to rush. We take our time to answer questions. Sometimes I want to dive deeper into some of the topics, and I found that super useful. That's the feedback I'm getting from the audience, so from you. So let me know if that's not what you want. But I think from what I've read so far, and from the results as well. I'm getting on average, almost 80% of retention, meaning that people who are listening to the episode will listen on average 80%. So for a 1 hour episode, they will listen, perhaps 45 minutes or 50 minutes. So it's great. It looks like people are interested. They want to learn. So that's why I'm continuing. What are some of the special guests you would love to interview? So first of all, I don't really do interviews, or at least that's not my spirit. I'm not a journalist. I'm more interested in having conversations so that we exchange what we do, and of course I want to learn from them. But sometimes I'm showing also that I have skin in the game. I share my own journeys, my own changes, and I think hopefully that makes better conversations. So going back to the question about special guests, for me, Barack Obama would be awesome. So of course, I'm shooting for the moon here, but I found that find that he's a great leader, very inspiring. Whenever we have talks about him, I'm really inspired by what he says. So really good. Simon Sinek is my guru about leadership. I share a bit more about that later on, but I've learned a ton through his books and videos. And then continuing on the Shooting for the Stars, Didier Deschamps is the coach of the French soccer team. Is really a very strong leader. So hopefully one day, I don't know whether he speaks English well enough, but I would love to have a conversation with him. And another one would be Andy Jassy. He's the CEO of Amazon. He was the CEO of AWS before, and I think with more than 20 years at Amazon, he have seen great stuff, and found him super interesting and inspiring as well. So. Definitely someone that I want to have. I would love to have on the show. We'll see how it goes. Sometimes we need a bit of aspirations. So maybe I'm crazy, but I found that super cool. One of the first questions I usually ask my guests is what's their journey into leadership is. So I'm going to share mine. I've been working with this company as a partner for a long time. When I was in Switzerland, the company was called Riverbed. You have heard, if you listen to previous episodes, you have heard me interviewing some of my former colleagues. I found that this company was great, and I've learned a ton at that time. So in 2014, I was hired as an individual contributor, as a pre-sales engineer. So pre-sales engineer could be a SE or solution architect, SA. So whatever you want to call them, but basically I was supporting on the technical side account managers who are trying to sell solution to their customers in Switzerland. And very quickly, they opened a manager role for Switzerland. So I was hired in March, and they created the role in July, August, and then I applied. So 4 months in the job, but and there was competition with a peer of mine, who was really good. It was one of the first hires, and I got the job. So my peer, who was in this role for 4 years, I guess, was really good technically, was very successful. So obviously that created a weird situation where I was the only one who was not speaking Swiss German. I was French and speaking French and English, but not Swiss German, and in the team. But and I was the newest one, but I got the job. So if you want to learn more about that, you can refer to an interview I did with Mark Seeger, who took the decision at that time. So I think it's episode 5. We can discuss that later on. But yeah, it's I got the first job. I made my first mistakes as a manager. I think the biggest was doing bad hiring decisions. So I learned a ton from my mistakes. I was young, but still, I think it was a great experience. I also learned about. I took some trainings about crucial conversations, for example, and crucial accountability. That helped me a lot to drive some difficult discussions, and I don't like conflicts. So that was not easy, but I think it was super useful for me. There was a case where one of my teammates was a bit difficult, was a bit always pushy, but not in a constructive way with the team, and sometimes he was responding very badly to others. So I could see that some account managers and even the sales director for Switzerland was annoyed by his behavior. So having the course on crucial conversations helped me to frame the discussion in a way that was firm but equally respectful, I think, and that helped us to create, a better understanding, and they understood what I was trying to convey, and they were successful. They stay in the company for several years afterwards. But at least they understood that this type of behavior was not welcome anymore. In 2015, the VP of pre-sales, Mark Seeger, actually left the company. His directors were let go. So basically, we were a bunch of managers in countries. And I was still in charge of Switzerland. And at that time, I realized that I didn't want to. I mean, I had strong ideas about what worked, what didn't work. And it took a while for the sales VP for Europe to find a replacement. So I decided to apply. I thought about it. I put together a plan. I proposed, to have a meeting with the VP, and I share my plan. I think we had a great discussion. I didn't get the job, but they came back to me and said, "Hey, we want to create a new director role for Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, DACH. So you like it? Do you want it?" And I said, "Yeah." So very quickly in 2015, almost 1 year after I was promoted as a manager for Switzerland, I was promoted as a director to lead a group of a bit more than 20 people, 20 SEs across Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. I think this was a big step into my leadership journey. It was not easy. They were strong characters, specifically, obviously in my teammates, but specifically in my peers. This is the first time I really faced political games, and I really found myself out of my league for a while. So I found that I was working a lot, doing a lot of things. I was still continuing, being hands-on, which was not the right thing to do with a large group of people to lead. So I started to take courses. I was looking for. I knew that I had to learn. I had too many gaps, and I found that it was difficult also to demonstrate that vulnerability with my peers. So I could not really discuss with them about the changes that I had, because there were some political games. So one of them wanted my role, actually. So I had to prove that I could do it. I also was really passionate about taking care of my team and making sure that we had the right people, and that and the right people were empowered to be successful. So I started to read a lot, because I was traveling a lot, actually, across the region. I took the time to read. I had my Kindle and loading a lot of books. And this is more or less the time where I discovered about Simon Sinek, and I read, Start With Why, and became a fan of his videos and his talks, and very inspiring. And I took. I spent a lot of time thinking about, okay, what is the mission? What is the why of this group, and how can I bring them to the next level? And I found that there was powerful. So obviously, some people had to leave because they were not performing, or they were not aligned to what we wanted to do, and or not interested to operate in a new way. but I was able to hire great people as well, and I think we were quite successful. We definitely hit our targets, and I felt that the team morale was good. I was able to take care of some people who were facing some personal issues as well. I found myself very happy to have grown that much in this role. It was not easy, but it's a great memory in my leadership journey. Then in 2017, we moved to the US with my family. I still for Riverbed, so a US-based company, so it was easier for us to relocate. It was a family project. We wanted to move to the US, and my wife said, "Okay, I'm ready." So I called my boss, and then 6 months later we were gone. Great experience so far. And when I moved to the US, actually, I built a team from scratch. I had to hire people in the US. I hired people in Europe, in India, and I was really driven. And I think that made a lot of difference when I was interviewing candidates, because I was very clear on the vision, very clear on what we wanted to achieve, and the importance of why. I was really, I think, clear on articulating that why and how we would do things. And I think this is one of my best experience as a manager, as a leader, because wow, we have delivered so much. I think the team was it was a small team, and less than 10 people, but a highly distributed team. So we had a lot of time difference between San Francisco, Europe, and Boston also, and people in India. But the team was really performing well. Great communication. We had great alignments. I found that we were able to achieve. Other teams were looking up to us, and actually, some of the VPs were telling us that this team was getting shit done, which I think is always good, because people would come to us to ask things, and if those requests were aligned with our mission, what we were trying to achieve, yes, we would do it, and I think we did great. We did. It was a fantastic journey, great memory from that time. I think the team morale was really high. I was able to help people grow and make the team successful at the same time, delivering results. That was great. I was really able to delegate to the team. They were delivering. We were very clear. The communication between my teammates was perfect. So great memory about that time. And then in 2020, during the pandemic, actually, AWS reached out to me, and there was a time where Riverbed as a company was facing a lot of troubles, and after more than 6 years in the company, I was also a bit less inspired. So I think it was the right moment, and I joined the company, AWS, Amazon Web Services, and there was a steep learning curve, new culture, new ways of doing things, a very strong writing culture, and it was everything remote. I didn't meet anybody in my team for 1 year. So that was tough. I was alone. Obviously, we had the kids to take care of at home, because the schools were closed. But it was tough. And at the same time, it was a tough job. And I think one of the challenges that I found the most difficult was was that there's a strong bottom up type of culture where we empower teams and basically they tell us what they are going to do, and versus the top down approach. And I found that hard because the team that I had to manage was comprised of roughly 15 people, and very very strong characters, very strong opinions, with different opinions on the way we would do things. So it was hard for me to gather everyone, to bring everyone on the same page, to direct them in the same direction, and I did a mistake where I could not see people, driving things or coming to a consensus where they will all work together. So I started to work on a doc and say, okay, this is the strategy, this is what we are going to do. And I got a lot of pushback, and that was hard because I spent some time on this doc, and I thought that they were good ideas, but the fact that I was pushing down on them was not great, and I learned the hard way that that was not the way to proceed. And it's not specific to Amazon. I think it's also I think the way you can empower people. I think from this point of view, it was quite different from the previous job where I created that vision and I hired people accordingly, and the people I brought, they knew about the vision, they knew about what I wanted to achieve, and so when they got into the job, they signed up already. So that was cool. In this case, I was the last one actually to be hired. So it was a group of 14, 15 people, and then I was hired to manage them, to lead them, and it was difficult. So many people were doing whatever they wanted, and it was difficult. And eventually there were some reorganization happening, and I was discussing with my actual boss. It was in a different organization. I shared some concern, I shared my vision, and we had the same. So we decided to work together. So I moved to this new team to create this new organization and to create a new team. So I was given a team of 5 that I quickly brought up to 20-ish something. So I hired internationally in Europe, in Brazil, in the US, in Australia, a bit everywhere. That was a great experience. That is a great experience actually. So I'm working a lot with my peers. We are building a vision all together across, and building relationship across the company. So this is where I am, I love that. Learning a lot. I'm still facing some changes as a leader. I think having clarity took me some time. And I think there was also because we were working on complex problem with my peers, and we wanted to. We had to all agree on the path forward. So that was a quite difficult journey, but I think we are getting there, and I love that. And I think the change that I'm facing the most is at the moment is to scale through others. So I have managers reporting it to me. I have directs. So having everyone align on a common vision is going to be the key to be able to scale through others. And we were lacking that clarity, but I think I feel very confident that now we have a great plan, we have a great vision, and we are going to execute on it. But it took us some time. So of course I need to bring my people on that journey. But I think I feel really energized and confident that's the way to go. So in a few minutes, this is my journey. It feels weird to speak alone and interviewing myself, because I don't have a conversation with myself. I'm more asking questions there, but it's cool. I think hopefully that would inspire others. So I wanted also to do a retrospective on some of the key episodes, or key learnings that I had during the past year. I have published 14 episodes. I'm proud of it, actually. I started in March 2023. We are in September 2023. I took a break during the summer, but now I've recorded a new episode for the new season, and yeah, I'm really excited about what's coming next. But let's dive into some of the key learnings from the first episode. So the first episode was with Amanda. Amanda and I, we worked together at Riverbed. She was an SE in Australia, and then she became a manager, and we kept in touch. And yeah, been impressed by her journey, and one of the key learnings from that discussion, I think, is you can get what you want with a plan, and that's true. Every time that I had a plan, I didn't get exactly what I wanted sometimes, but I was able to make progress. I was able to create this momentum that would bring me on the path to success. And I loved what Amanda shared, and I'm looking forward for her to come back on the show, because she shared a plan with us in the first episode, and I know that she has been executing on it and having some great wins. So that's great to see. And yeah, I feel that whenever you have a plan and you have the clarity to execute on that plan, I think you can do marvels with your team individually, and I think that's one of the great takeaway from that discussion. Next was with Nicholas. Nicholas is a friend. He's a CEO of a company, and we discussed many things. I mean, he shared his journey as a leader, creating a company from scratch, a startup, and growing the company and growing as a leader at the same time, facing a lot of changes, of course, as you grow. And what I found inspiring is his way of finding mentors and reaching out to people on LinkedIn, for example, people in doesn't know, and say, okay, can we have a coffee together and let's discuss about, I want to learn more about what you do. And so it's very genuine, very I think demonstrating his curiosity and trying to open his chakras, open his mind to new ideas. And I find that super inspiring, because whenever I mean, even if it's not directly linked to their business, he is able to find bridges and say, oh yeah, this is a good idea, maybe I could apply this and that, and in return people also learning from him. So I think it's great. I'm not going to list all the episodes. I want to highlight some of the key learnings. So I had a great conversation with Mark Seeger. So that's episode 4, not the 5. Episode 4, it was with Mark. So Mark was the one who hired me as a manager. In 2014, he was the VP, and he gave a playbook on pre-sales and being a leader. Amazing discussion for more than 2 hours. It's really a course. If you are into sales engineering or solution architects or pre-sales and you want to become a leader, I mean, learn from Mark is great. This discussion was really inspiring. In the next episode with Alison, on episode 5, I think what I loved about her is, I mean, she shared a difficult journey, a difficult personal experience that she had to go through 2 years ago, and how she became stronger after this experience, and also how it changed her lens on the on the business, on leadership, and now the fact that she's leading with courage, or inspiring leaders to lead with courage and curiosity. I find that super powerful. I had a recent discussion with a leader that I'm going to release soon, where we discussed about the importance of curiosity, being asking question, being able to dive deep into what people are bringing to you as a leader, and trying to understand where they're coming from, what they're trying to do. So really powerful. I really encourage people to listen to this episode. Next one is my favorite episode. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, I've listened to this episode almost 10 times. I love the discussion I had with Daryl Hammett. Daryl is a director of marketing in AWS. So we are colleagues, but we never worked together. So I didn't know him before. I discovered him on internally because there was an article about him, and then I read some of his blogs and blog posts, and was really inspired. And when we started the discussion, he had such great smile and such great energy. That was really, really cool and really powerful. But then the one thing that if I have to summarize this great discussion I had is to. What he says is that we need to be intentional as a leader. You need to be intentional about what you want to do and how you want to drive your team. And if you want to have a different perspective, you need to be intentional about hiring accordingly. You don't want, I think he said that you don't, if everyone plays baseball in that team, you can't really learn from that. But if someone is playing baseball, someone is playing soccer, someone is playing tennis, you can learn from each other at learning a new sport, and that's an analogy to the different skill set that you can bring into a team in the business. So everyone can bring their strengths, and you can learn from each other. But also, it gives you a different perspective. And again, being intentional about everything. That's really the secret ingredient. That's episode 6, and surprisingly, this is an episode where I don't have a lot of listened. That's one of the one that has been successful, but not the most successful. And I still wonder why, because it was a great episode. Then great discussions. I had a good friend of mine, Franco. He's Italian, and he's working for this large company called Decathlon. So that's a French company. They are selling sport goods, and they're producing also sports goods. And what is quite unique about that company is how people are so passionate about what they do. Every time you go to one of those shops, stores, you talk to people, they are so passionate about what they do. And that was so interesting to learn from Franco how they are driving this, and the fact that they are all behind a mission, which is making sports available to everyone. And you could see, the people that are at those stores, they are really sporty. They love what they do. They love playing tennis or do whatever, and sharing their passion with customers. But also, what I found the most interesting is that actually they are building visions all together. So they have this way of gathering teams and say, okay, defining all together the vision that they want to achieve in 1, 2, 3, or 4 years from now, and executing on it, and having external coaches helping them on building that vision together. I found that that's really cool. So of course there's that sounds very bottom up, and it's difficult to align everyone. But I also learned from Franco that leaders are able to influence and lead the way, and I found that very interesting. The one episode that I I was really, really interested in because I didn't expect that. Um, it was really a big surprise for me the way Remy Vespa, episode 8, created a constitution to empower employees. So he has been a CEO for a long time and creating different companies. And for these companies, for this new company that he created 10 years ago, he really wanted to empower people. So from the get-go, the DNA of the company is built like this. And he decided to study and go on a PhD to learn how organizations are performing. And he came up with this idea of creating the constitution, like in the US, for example, and dividing the power, making sure that there are counter powers within the enterprise. So the CEO alone can't do whatever he wants, and there are some counter powers. And I found that really inspiring, very different. Uh, it's yeah, I mean the company is performing super well, so that's great to see, and that's very aligned with what I'm trying to do here, exploring new ways of leadership, and Remy was really inspiring. So encourage everyone to learn to listen to this one. Next was Sam. Sam Enchinda was my boss years ago, many years ago. He hired me at Orange Business Services, a telco provider, a big one. And Sam, what I found cool about Sam is that he did 2 or 3 Olympic Games as an athlete. He was part of the Cameroon team, and and he's making great analogy between sports and business. And when I was working for him, I always found him very inspiring, always full of energy. He's a great coach. So, and I want you to view a sport coach. I have some names, but if you have other people that you know in your network, I would be really interested in being introduced to those people, because I found that they are great leaders in the sports, and we can apply those recipes into the business as well. And Sam is a great example of doing that. And he's someone that I respect a lot. So I was glad that we were able to make it when he had a trip to San Francisco. We could discuss that. Next was Steve Cuss. So Steve, amazing leader. He was the director of a gaming studio, and he demonstrated a lot of vulnerability during that discussion, and the way he transformed himself. And he has a podcast, so I encourage everyone to have to listen to his podcast. Also, I will give the link to it. But he has a podcast about leadership, and was great discussion, very inspiring as well. Tough moments. He had a burnout, and I shared that during the episode, and why and how he was able to become stronger as a leader after that episode. So very inspiring. I had also a discussion with Holly Foxcroft. So Holly is an expert in neuro inclusivity, and I'm very interested in that topic because on the personal side, my 2 sons have ADHD, so I'm very interested in this on the personal side, but also how can I make a more inclusive, neuro-inclusive workplace. And she gave great tips, great example of her own journey, because she's on the spectrum of autism and has ADHD as well. So it was good to hear from her, how to advocate for others and make great experiences for everyone, and leveraging the skills and the specificities of people who are, neurodiverse. Yeah, that was a great discussion. Unfortunately, it was a bit short, and that's because of my mistake. I gave her the wrong address, so our Uber went, in a different place, and then so she rushed back to the studio where we recorded, and and we had only 1 hour and something. But I would try to have her again on the show, because there was a lot of interesting discussion there. A great discussion also with Dominic Tremblay about. So he's the CEO of a creative company called Tux Creative House, an advertising company. It was great to learn about his learning journey or leadership journey, but also how he is creating, an environment that is fostering creativity, and which I really value. I think that creative teams are able to make things amazing, and amazing things, and inspiring people. I think specifically in North America, this is quite unique, because he has created a company where they are working 4 days a week, and they are paid for 5 days. So, and he is explaining in this podcast episode that how they transition from 5 to 4 days, and how it is helping people to be more creative and more productive eventually, and that's really powerful. That's really powerful. I know that some companies are doing that in Europe. I think the best example I have in mind is LDC.com, which is an online retail company. They sell tech products in France, and yeah, they did that, and he's the CEO is Laurent de la Clergerie, is a great advocate for the 4-day week, and why it is helping companies to create better workplaces and have great results out of that. So very interesting. And finally, the last episode I had with Shannon Rich. So she's the CEO of the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, and also she's leading a community of women to empower women in leadership, and also make women more visible, and inspire women to become leaders, and grow as leaders, and providing that visibility and the coaching and everything. So, wow, she's a very strong woman, really inspiring as well. That I love doing that. I love to have those conversations. So Alison introduced me to her, to Shannon, and really enjoyed the discussion. I mean, she's a great lady. She's doing amazing things, and I'm going to record with someone she introduced me to. He's a leader, and what I like about that particular person, I mean, besides everything that they do, he's also a leader with no direct reports, and that's the type of leadership I wanted to explore. So he's not a people manager. I want to discuss with him how they inspire other teams, and how they do that. So looking forward to the discussion on that. So that's a very brief summary of season 1, and I'm very excited to have new episodes coming up next week. So that's cool. So I wanted also to share what's coming next with the Pay for What Society. So we have a new logo. I'm excited about that. I spent some time with different designers over summer to create that. I want to have more leaders and more diversity so I will be super intentional about that, and making sure that we have different perspectives that are offered, and also more examples. I truly believe in having examples, people to look up to, and having women or people from underrepresented communities on the show, explain their journey, and I think many people will find that super interesting. I will learn a lot, and I think everyone can. So you can expect that on the show. I will launch also a newsletter, so I need a bit of time to make that happen. I have plenty of ideas to share. I just need to balance that with my responsibilities as a leader in a tech company, but also my family and my wife and the kids. So I want to spend some time with them. So I need to find the right balance. But yeah, that's something I want to do. I think it would be a great channel to share updates and also some of our learnings on about leadership, and also learning from you. I mean, if you have news to share and I can be I can amplify your voice, I will be happy to do that. And finally, I will produce videos. I will have a YouTube channel. I have already one where I'm posting the episodes, but those are voice only. Eventually, I will move to a video format as well, because I know that people are also interested in consuming those type of conversation in videos on YouTube. So I will do that. And by the end of the year, I will launch a community space, a website where people will be able to share their stories, exchange, and learn from each other. Finally, there's another thing that I want to do is having more surveys. I want to learn from you. I want to hear from you. If you can help me improve the show. If there are some topics that you want to be addressed during the show, it's your show. Eventually, it's a community that I'm trying to create here. So definitely, you can reach out to me and share your ideas. And so my email address is Romain, ROMAIN, Roman, at tpifs.com. And you can share, feedback, and you can tell me what you want to hear more about during this show, about leadership, and would people, if you have any people that you want me to have a conversation with, let me know. I would love to welcome them on the show if they are really great leaders and can inspire others to become great leaders as well. So that's it for this special episode. I didn't expect to speak that much, so hopefully it was interesting, and I'm really looking forward to publishing the next wave of episodes. I have great leaders on the list, and great learnings as well. So thank you, and take care. You stayed until the end. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Paid Forward Society. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and share it with at least 2 people who would benefit from this discussion. Your support helps me reach more people and make a greater impact. You can also help me get discovered by leaving a 5-star rating and a review on your favorite podcast platform. I appreciate your support and look forward to continuing this journey with you. Bye.